Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting edition of Going Commando. I'm indeed your host, Tank Rodriguez, alongside our co-host, James Dean.
Sup.
Dirty Derek. I like to laugh when it's going. How y'all doing today, folks?
Good, man.
That's awesome. That's really good. It's been a while. It seems like the holidays of...
They're fucking with us, man.
I think it's to be expected.
Has a tendency to do that for people, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, we were talking about it before the show. It looks like we all had a pretty good holiday
nice
Christmas
and
getting ready for the new year. Y'all excited? Y'all ready?
Ready to break into this podcast in 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
New decade
of new horror movies and new movies. Oh, wait, this isn't the horror show.
That's
My
right.
bad.
That's okay. Lots of new movies.
Lots of new movies.
Not horror-related.
Horror-adjacent movies.
Horror-adjacent movies. Very much so.
Guys, I saw Uncut Gems, and it was amazing. And so I know we talked about it again, and I'm sounding like a broken record, but to our audience, probably one of the best movies I saw this year. Which weren't many, but I did see it quite a bit. Adam Sandler killed it. Really great music. The music was perfect. Not what you expect for like your regular movie or just a normal movie, but just wanted to get that out there.
I'd assume there's a lot of like hip hop. No.
Really? So do you know? Did you listen to Hesitation Marks by Nine Inch Nails?
Like bits and pieces.
Okay. So think of the Nova documentaries and think of that music.
Interesting.
Okay.
And it's very...
Who did the music?
I don't know. I wish I would have Googled it. Let's do it, Derek.
All right, let's see.
But yeah, so the music is spot on for like... It was very chaotic. I mean, it gave me somewhat anxiety in the beginning.
I think that, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I appreciated about it. It was a very...
Philip Glass kind of music.
A very different take. Yeah, that's exactly what exactly like that. And, man, I just can't... The movie's like 2 hours long, but it doesn't feel like it.
So the composer is Daniel Lopatin.
Lopatin?
Sure.
Lopatin.
God, amazing guy. Right. Anyway,
I'm excited though. I really want to see it. One of my favorite movies of maybe ever. I'm a huge Paul Thomas Anderson fan, but I specifically like his mid-career stuff. Case in point,
Punch Drunk
Love, which I think is one of the greatest romance stories, one of the greatest romantic movies ever. And he's so fucking good in that movie, but because he played against type at the time, and because a lot of people didn't get the movie, and I hate saying, people didn't quote unquote get that movie, but people didn't get that movie. They thought it was weird, but it was very like straight ahead. So I could talk about the movie all day.
Yeah. Well, he was really good in Rain on Me as well.
He was,
I thought he was pretty good.
I like that one.
Yeah,
too.
I think the problem with Adam Sandler, I think, is a problem with a lot of people that go from comedy to try to be like dramatic, is that every time you watch a movie you're just like go Sabadoo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Sandler,
shut up, Jen.
I think with Sandler, he made like Spanglish in some movies that were like his attempt to do, which he was good in. Like he was great in Spanglish, but that movie didn't do well.
Right.
Rain Over Me was considered a little like hokey a little bit. There's people who loved it, but there were some people who thought it was like kind of sentimental. But the thing with Sandler is that his reputation is such a... He kind of lives his like Saturday Night Live sort of persona, where he's kind of like, he just dresses like a man-child and he hangs out and he makes shitty-ass movies like the Grown-Ups movies and stuff. So people almost don't want to give him his props.
Yeah.
That he's a talented actor. But hopefully this will prove that like, it doesn't matter like...
any movie.
He's a businessman. That's the thing. Is he entered into that Netflix deal for 6 pictures for millions upon millions of dollars. Like that is for him. Like I feel like that's making movies like that are like a walk in the park. Like that's like your vacation movie.
Plus, he has fun doing it. Like he said, he even said a quote like he goes on vacation with his friends and they film it. Like it's pretty. It's not. He's not an idiot, but like the quality of the art itself. Now, here's the thing. I have a very controversial opinion. I do not like Robin Williams comedies. In fact, I find them to be insufferable. But I like Robin Williams, the dramatic actor.
Oh, okay.
When he was...
Like 1 Hour Photo?
I love 1 Hour Photo. One of my favorite performances I've ever seen was on Law & Order. He did this episode of Law & Order where his...
I saw that one.
And it was one of the most heartbreaking performances I've ever seen. But my mom was a huge... Robin Williams fan, and I always thought his comedies were awful. But then, the more he did like dramatic acting, I was like, oh, he actually is a fucking great dramatic actor. But to still hate his comedies, kind of like the same way with Jim Carrey. Don't like Jim Carrey, the comedic actor, really. I dig him as a with Jim Carrey, kind of goes back and forth. I think some things he does, I think like Me, Myself, and Irene, which I think is one of the least beloved of all the Farrelly Brothers films. I think it's one of my favorites. Movies. And I think he's fucking amazing in it. I think his performance in that is incredible. But anyways, he's an interesting cat.
He is. I really liked him in Man on the Moon.
Yep.
He was really great in that.
What a hard role to do too.
Yeah, that's a super hard role.
Yep.
And Andy Kaufman is always, it's shrouded in mystery anyway, so to get in that mind.
Did you see that documentary about?
Oh my god!
Yeah, so
what
incredible.
An asshole.
I know, but that's the thing. Is just like.
But that's the thing. Andy Kaufman was nothing like that.
Yeah. well, that's the thing. Is there's a whole there's this whole thing about that movies are great about actors who sort of want to live the role the same way what's his name? Who played Joker?
Heath Ledger.
No, the other,
Jack
the shitty, the
how dare you? How dare you say Jared Leto?
Jared Leto, yeah.
How dare you?
So, but Jared Leto was trying to be all method when he did the Joker, but he was he was just annoying people.
See, this is a really unpopular opinion, but I can't stand Jared Leto as an actor.
Very unpopular opinion.
My favorite part of Fight Club is when he gets a shit kicked out of him by Edward Norton.
He was great in one movie. He was great in
Requiem for... I was going to say Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream is amazing.
I like him in that.
I thought he was the weakest part of that movie, honestly. Actually, I thought...
How dare you?
I thought him and... Wayne's was at least...
And Dallas Buyers Club?
Well, I'd say Dallas Buyers Club is the one in the movie I was talking about. He's really good in that.
Yeah. There's just something... Here's... I think...
You guys know he's like a 13-inch dick, though, right?
What?
That's not the truth.
He is a 6-foot dick, in my opinion.
Get it? Because he's 6 foot. He's all dick.
Look, I just think that there's people that legitimately get into that. Why are we allowed to talk about dogs?
This dude.
Look, I read this whole thing. He was on the he was on. He acted with this chick who used to do porn, and she was like he outdid every professional I ever worked with.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him. I mean, maybe that's why.
No, not good for him. I think that's exactly. But he looks that way, and then he's got to. Anyway, it's not.
I just think that there's people that if I look at somebody like Jim Carrey, as much as people have a hard time tolerating him, I feel like him getting into the character of Andy Kaufman is necessary for that role.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, there was this interview with Jerry the King Lawler because they had that and he did an interview and he was like, Jim Carrey was a dick.
Yeah.
Thing about this idea, it wasn't annoying me it wasn't annoying. He was just trying to make it for good for. I
think Jim Carrey was trying to get into a character, understand who he was. Jerry, I've read that. I heard Jerry say that same thing. There are people who did work with him who didn't know when Kaufman was being serious, when he was joking, especially when he would do. I love. When he would disappear into certain characters, he would sort of. It was hard for his friends to know,
where he began in the character
ended. Yeah, but anyways, it's interesting. I think Jim Carrey is an interesting dude. Yeah. I think he's
Tony Clifton.
Yeah. God, I love Tony Clifton. But yeah, Jim Carrey is an interesting dude. I actually really like his art. He's a painter.
Oh yeah.
I've seen that. I mean, I feel like I think
he's a complicated guy.
Yeah, I think he's complicated. It's probably a lot of other complicated, tortured artists. There's probably a lot going on behind.
When he went off that deep end for a little bit, that was weird.
Yeah, when he was dating Jenny McCarthy, but that alone was weird.
No. He had this obsession too with somebody
I know who it was. It was the chick from Superbad.
Emma Stone, right?
Yeah,
he was weird. Now I love it.
He sent her a video. And...
Don't get me wrong, I love Emma Stone.
Yeah,
I love me some Emma Stone, but that was borderline. Hey, you could be harassing people. I don't know. But I feel like there is a difference between somebody like that and somebody like Jared Leto, and I feel like the whole Joker thing is with him wanting to get in character. He did some weird shit on the set of number one, I will say it is probably also an unpopular opinion. I actually like Suicide Squad, so
I liked
the longer, the more I like it. But I don't care for his character in that.
No, it's awful. Anybody who tries to defend that version of the Joker, I don't get it.
And so it's like I watch that, and I'm like, why? That's you getting into character, and that's what you came up with.
Yeah,
like it.
Sending people like use condoms and stuff. It's like, dude, that's
like
the Joker would do
dead animals.
Yeah,
no, like the Joker would send you like
he'd send you
a teddy bear with a dildo on it. I don't know, like
he would send you the head of your girlfriend. That's what he would send you.
That's what he would do. But yeah,
but
which is really why I'm super happy that they decided to like
do another one.
Do another one, not with him, and cut him out of the Emancipation of Harley Quinn, which I'm actually pretty excited about because I thought she did a really great job as Harley Quinn.
Are you ready for the hottest take? The hottest hot take ever?
Sure.
So I hate the Joker and I hate Harley Quinn. I think
as characters as a whole.
As characters as a whole, right. I think the Joker stopped being interesting in like the 50s. I think once they took as far as the Clown Prince of Crime as they could go. That's as much as I feel like he. I mean, you had like the Killing Joke. Which was like really what cemented him as the character, because before that he was still never, even in the comics, even when Neil Adams sort of made him a little bit darker in the late 70s, he still wasn't, before the Killing Joke, he wasn't the Joker.
Right.
I mean, he wasn't like shooting Barbara, basically paralyzing people and like having like sex dwarves, and
he had sex dwarves
in the Killing Joke. You should read it. Anyways,
read it. Don't watch it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't.
The cartoons. I read it a long time ago. But
I don't like the. I do like the Joker.
What about the Joaquin Phoenix one?
Well, let me. So I think I think he's like, you can do a lot with the character, but most of it I don't find that interesting. I actually found, the one thing I went in just like every other nerd. I went into Dark Knight thinking I was not going to like it. But for I think different reasons than people are like, Heath Ledger sucks. I'm like, Heath Ledger's just an actor. Anybody can do it. I just thought they were going to just do another typical Joker, which, his whole he's just an anarchist, and he's a little bit, he's more of, he's not so much just a psychopath as he is as an anarchist. He just likes chaos, and that whole tinge of it I thought was pretty interesting. I thought the Joker movie was fine, the one with Joaquin Phoenix, but I've seen all the 70s movies that ripped off.
Standalone. I mean, it was
great.
Standalone.
But I also and that's the thing, is I liked it because it wasn't super sycophantic to the comics, which I know that all the nerds' heads are exploding right now, but I really think like the Joker in the comics is his. And okay, Harley Quinn as a character in the Bruce Timm Adventures, the Batman the Animated Series, she was a gangster's mall. She was literally a 40s stereotype character as a supervillain, which also pissed me off because there was this character called the Harlequin from DC Comics who was the same gimmick, just wasn't attached to Joker, which that's a whole another level of annoyance. But anyways, when she was in the cartoon, she was great because she was a gangster's mall, which worked in that neo-noir kind of style that the Batman in the series. But she's an abused girlfriend. She is a gangster's mall, which in that same whole archetype character is abused by she's in a toxic relationship with this gangster, which really what that stereotype is, which is why she works in the comics, because she had her own thing. So that comics, it's a terrible character. First of all, it's a terrible message, and then I think I don't get the whole. I don't get it. But having said that, I think if any actress was going to bring it to life, I think Margot Robbie did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I'm excited to see her movie comes out in February, because she very much highlights, I think, to your point of even in the previews, and I know previews tend to give away a lot, but just the idea of what is a Harlequin but to serve a master, and other than that, people don't give a fuck about us. Yeah. And I think that's in this kind of the vein of the movie of fuck you, fuck all these guys, I'm doing my own thing. I think it's kind of a cool message, compared to where it came from in the comics versus where it came from in a lot of the other representations. I mean, she is essentially in most other representations just a Joker sidekick and fun toy.
Well, the thing is the one thing that in the comics it is straight up Joker tries to kill her. He is. I mean, it's as toxic of a relationship as you can get. In the Suicide Squad movie, it was more of a mute. Like, he really does, like, care about her. Like, he's, like... In the comics, Joker's literally trying to get rid of her. Or even in the Batman Animated Series, which is where the character really came, he's constantly trying to get rid of her. He finds her annoying. Where in the movie, it's a little bit more like... There's a little bit more of an actual relationship there. It's more of a Bonnie and Clyde type situation than it is like an abusive... although, like I said, that first Suicide Squad movie didn't... That Joker was terrible. That they didn't really flesh out that whole thing. But I think the annoyance, like, they shoehorned Harley Quinn and the Joker into Suicide Squad, which was a concept that they didn't belong to in the first place and really didn't need. I felt like they could have given her own movie in the first place. Yep. But I will say that, like, I did really enjoy her. The whole thing about the Birds of Prey movie, though, it's like, now they're just all, like, club kids. Like, there's no costumes or even, like, there's not even an attempt to wear, like, military style clothes. They're just literally club kids. It's like, all right, whatever. But it's got
sending the Alien and Raven out, you know?
Exactly. That's, great.
But yeah, Uncut Gems.
on a side note, yeah.
Okay, recap. Any movie without Rob Schneider and Adam Sandler together is a good movie. All right? I don't like Rob Schneider. He's a dick. Jared Leto, love him.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You can like him. He is not my cup of tea.
Did you guys know he has a third answer?
Oh,
Jesus,
Lord.
Right. He's a 13-inch pianist.
Exactly. I actually really...
Here all week, folks.
It's like people want him because he's handsome and he's in a shitty band.
I don't hate him. I actually don't even think his band is that shitty.
I hate his band, but...
I love 30 Seconds to Mars.
God, you guys.
I didn't say I liked it. I just
I'm
said
glad
I
I'm not
didn't
doing a
hate
music podcast with you.
Oh, we're gonna get one. With, side note, Paul. I know not a lot of people. Well, he was on the wrestling podcast once. We want to have a discussion about who's better, Neil Peart or Mike Portnoy, and it just definitely.
It has been. Let's just say there's been some tense discussion.
So is he? I'm assuming he is a.
I said Dave Grohl.
Who would you think he said?
Oh, it's hard.
Who would you think I would say? How about that?
I would say you're a Portnoy guy.
Damn right.
Yeah.
He said
right. Hands down. I look, and really quick, I know we're getting off the rails here, but my argument is I'm not saying Rush or Dream Theater is better than Rush. And by no means am I saying that. I'm just saying Portnoy is better than Peart.
So I don't know about that. I mean, I think they're first off. No, I would argue to say, as just a pure musician, nobody in the history of drumming has been more inventive than Neil Peart.
What about the guy from Def Leppard? He only had one arm. He had to reinvent himself.
And then
my older brother, Big Mike, shout out to Mike the Mailman.
Shout out.
Big Mike. What's up?
Def Leppard was his favorite band growing up, and I used to love like being like, hey Mike, who am I? And then like put one arm in my thing and he'd get super mad because he...
Def Leppard sucks!
Yeah. Anyway. My dad, I always say the king of like bad dad jokes. Like, my brother had a Def Leppard shirt, and I inherited it from him, and I like Def Leppard. I remember rocking out to it as a kid, but even my dad would always make their bad joke like, Def Leppard, what's next? Blind Cheetah?
He said that.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
There's a drummer joke.
Yeah.
There's something called a paradiddle when you play drums, which is right, left, right, right, or left, right, left, left. It's like, how do you play a Def Leppard paradiddle? Like,
terrible.
Anyway, music aside. But yeah, we do want to have a music
How far are we into
podcast.
this? We haven't talked about movies yet.
Yeah, about 18 minutes in.
Hey,
so we're good.
We talked about movies, though.
Yeah, we did talk about a good extensive movies.
I've heard some feedback from our fans that they like this aspect of our shows. Where
This is my favorite part of the show. Is just the open discussion.
Freewheeling and stuff.
Man, it's more organic and everything. But I do want to ask y'all a question. You know, if y'all watch anything besides horror movies that we can talk about on this show.
Oh, I watched a ton of movies.
A ton of movies too.
Awesome. Anything y'all wanted to reflect on?
Sure. Actually, this is kind of. I mean, I could talk about. This is one of those films that I could talk about on this podcast or Texas Podcast Massacre. But I rewatched War of the Worlds, which I was a fan of.
The Tom Cruise version?
Tom Cruise, Steven Spielberg. I watched it the first time when it came out when nobody liked it, and I was like, I actually liked it. I think the first 30 minutes are fucking terrifying. The whole first off, the movie suffers from what not just Spielberg, but a lot of those, which is like the annoying family dynamic. Uh-huh. It's like the easiest way to create drama is by creating a tense family dynamic. Mm-hmm. But you can do that without making unlikable kids. or totally dickish, unrelatable parents.
One unlikable kid.
I mean, what?
What's her name?
Dakota Fanning?
I hate Dakota Fanning.
You're wrong.
Kid Dakota Fanning's annoying.
I like Dakota. She's a great. Her sister's a great actress too.
Every movie she just cries.
She was great in Neon Demon.
Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't seen that one.
That's a good one.
But anyways,
War of the Worlds.
But I watched it, and again, I actually think it's far scarier than the vast majority of films I've watched, in the last 20 years. I think they took a very hackneyed, very cheesy premise, which is alien invasion, and did it very realistically. I think Tom Cruise does his best to carry the movie. I don't think it's necessarily Tom Cruise at his best, but when you have Tim Robbins come in, and you're especially when you have Tim Robbins come in, and you're like, oh, holy shit, Tim Robbins is acting his ass off around you. But Tim Cruise still makes a very competent lead, but it's all the stuff happening, everything happening to the characters I find really compelling more than the characters themselves. That opening sequence, though, when the lightning strikes and then everybody goes to investigate, and when they first emerge, when the tripods first emerge, it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
When they're on the boat, that shit is terrifying. I mean, there's just so many terrifying moments. But what it did was, I watched it, and then I'll probably bring this up again on the horror podcast. But all it really made me do, though, is then rewatch one of my favorite movies of all time, which I'm not going to go into, The Mist. Because
great movie.
It has a very similar vibe to it.
I also watched a Thomas Jane movie too, so that's really funny.
Oh, good.
So we'll talk about that.
Good. Then for other horror, I watched since we talked about last time we were talking about kung fu movies. I just watched a shit ton of kung fu movies again. I watched Hard Target, which is probably the only American action movie I watched this weekend. But man, I love that fucking movie. I mean, I've always loved it, even with its bad mullet wigs and its awful Wilford Brimley New Orleans Cajun accent, which is one of the worst things I've ever seen in cinema. But goddamn, dude, what a great, for John Woo's first American movie, and he has all their John Woo-isms. Dude, I just love it so much. I just love watch Lance Hendrickson and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Give me more.
You know what I really liked as a John Woo movie was the Replacement Killers.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah. Sorvino, I thought that was really good. That was probably I think
I saw it in the theater.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I did not see it in theater. I kind of wish I had saw it in the theater though. I really do like War of the Worlds though. I only cringe because I really have a hard time with Tom Cruise as an actor. There's just something about him that. Really,
but oh my god, that Top Gun 2 trailer! I'm so stoked.
Look, hey,
I'm so stoked.
This is going to be a really super unpopular opinion, but I'm not a huge fan of Top Gun, and I do not like Dirty Dancing. I'm sorry, American public probably hates me right about now, but
I love Dirty Dancing.
Top Gun is okay.
It's funny because I was like, well, how are you, 1 second I was like, why are you relating the two? But then I was like, oh, I get it. I totally get why you would relate those two. American classics.
Yeah, they're classics, but I just, I think they're just something I love. But yeah. Yeah, just something about the guy that just rubs it. Don't even get me started Mission Impossible.
Okay.
I can't.
Because spy espionage films for whatever reason just don't really. I haven't seen any of Jason Bourne's. I only like the really goofy James Bond movies. I don't know what it is.
Top Secret, Val Kilmer.
I do love Top Secret. That's different. Tom Cruise. In fact, I think he was fucked. He should have gotten an Oscar for his performance in Magnolia, which is probably one of the greatest fucking performances. I don't know why it's not more beloved. God damn, I love.
Good too, man.
I'm not saying he's not a good,
but he's one of those guys where I'm like, you know, one thing and I love people all the nerds get super mad about the Jack Reacher movies because in the books he's I love the first Jack Reacher movie is fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing, but yeah, I'm saying people being mad and pissed that he's miscast, but he's great. The movie's great. But he's one of those guys where I'm like, I don't want to like him, but then when I watch him in certain movies, I'm like, here's one thing about him though. Everybody who works with him says dude, he's the fucking nicest. People who went into sets thinking
he will not lose eye contact with you or anything. He just engaged
and he'll be he'll learn things about you. You're like, what the fuck? How do you know that?
So wait, so let me ask
It's all
you,
the power of Xenu.
Yes.
Well, so that's what.
Ron,
Like, if you knew nothing about his Scientology background, do you think that would change your opinion on
Not
him?
at all.
Not at all.
I think there are just some people that, and again, I think don't get me wrong. I think he's a good actor. Like
He can.
I
Yes.
I like a good chunk of his movies. Like, yeah, Top Gun is just not, and maybe it's just because planes, and I can't give a fuck, honestly. Like, I actually liked him in Cocktail. Cocktail was good. Days of Thunder.
See, that's where now you've lost me because like race car movie, and I love like Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, but race car movies. No, thanks.
I remember watching when I was a kid. My sister really
it's
liked
the
it.
whitest fucking activity.
Just like if I'm mind numbed for like an hour and a half, I'm good. Like if I just forget about stupid like life for a little bit, I'm entertained. You know what I mean?
Night and Day. He was in that movie. What's it? Cameron Diaz. I mean, he's for the most part a good actor. I think there are just some people like. Honestly, like I really hate to say it, but it's just like you look at me like just fucking. It's like that scene in Step Brothers when Rob Riggle's character is like, you did a really good job, but I just want to punch you right in your face hole. Like,
It's my favorite role.
So I mean, it's not that I really just.
I have those same characters. I have actors that bug the shit out of me.
It's not that. I think it's just kind of the idea of like, I'll watch him in some stuff. If it's in front of me and I'm watching it, like I'll watch it. I just don't actively go out of my way.
Did you see that Mummy? The Mummy?
I want to shoot myself in the fucking face.
Got 5 minutes into it and I was like, nope, I'm not doing this.
I just was like, what the fuck is going on here?
That movie was supposed to relaunch the Dark Verse, the Universal Monsters.
You don't need to pose Russell Crowe as Jekyll and Hyde. He's already Jekyll and Hyde. Throw a fucking phone at you whether he's in a movie or not.
Yeah, he didn't look appealing. I love Brendan Fraser.
Yeah,
hey,
bring back. That guy got that Hollywood fucked that guy.
I was having a conversation.
He's great
yesterday.
He's great in Doom Patrol, by the way.
I would say
he's the best part of Doom Patrol.
Yeah,
he really, and I love.
Is it just his voice in that movie?
Yeah,
it's just his voice. Well, I mean, he's in flashbacks.
With his like bloated face and mullet.
But I guess
that's no judgment. That's not a judgment. Like poor dude, God bless him.
I think what he was saying was, I think he fucked up his back really bad in like George of the Jungle. Or
yes, he
like
did.
And then like it was hard for him like after that to like get the more action roles because he was just recovering from that.
And he couldn't do all the exercises because he was in pain.
Yeah, I think he got divorced.
But he's
his wife took all his money, and so that's why he's a perfect character for
Cliff Steele
because that's what happened.
He's a broken man.
A broken man who loses everything.
And it's so sad because like you hear interviews from him now, and I swear to God, it just feels like he's just right like an inch away from crying.
The thing is, like, there's this whole like
Monkey Bone. I loved him in Monkey Bone too. It's a great movie.
There's this whole like wave of girls like in their 20s who've discovered how like basically that the George of the Jungle movie is basically like the complete opposite of what Hollywood's always done, which. First off, George is basically just eye candy for women, but he's he's become the sexual object, but he himself is like very like he's like basically like it's like this weird like feminist like George of the Jungle has become this weird like feminist sexual
he's like the Babadook for the fucking feminist movement.
He's the Rock Hudson.
That's okay.
Minus
the Rock. Give him that honestly, like because Brendan Fraser, I'm just gonna give him credit for the following movies. Airheads, I fucking love Airheads. I love that movie. Encino Man. Love that movie.
Dude.
Yeah, so I mean,
and then Bedazzled.
The Mummy movies. Like
I love Bedazzled. One of the underrated movies. Elizabeth Hurley, who
has not aged at all. I think she really did make a deal with the devil.
Yes, dude.
And some plastic surgery.
God damn.
But.
You guys can't see it, but I'm giving her a standing ovation right now.
And the
God dang it!
I have my full Jared Leto.
I have friends' moms that hit me up like, "Hey, I heard you had a podcast." I'm like, "Please don't listen to my podcast." Like the one listener.
You should never.
And you're like, "Pee pee."
You should never tell me that because now I'm gonna want to do it 10 times more. 10 times as many cacks.
Sally, I'm sorry.
James Unleashed.
Look, man.
13.
There's some other movie to watch, but we've gotten so far off thing. I'll let you go.
Yeah. So I was this week. I mentioned this before. We'll talk about it in our horror podcast. But I was on a huge like creature feature.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm going to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
I think it kind of can fall in the vein of horror because it's. What do you think of Anaconda? Do you think
it's a horror movie?
It's a horror movie.
Yeah.
It also was. You know, I would say. I was watching that and John Voight's accent in that movie.
Terrible.
I just don't even know. Like I like Anaconda. Get J-Lo too.
Mm-hmm. A movie with Ice Cube.
Yep, Ice Cube. Actually, funny enough, a lot of what I watched this week has. Yeah, I watched Deep Blue Sea too, which had LL Cool J in it.
God, I love that movie.
Great movie. It's a bird. You killed my fucking bird, which is great. But yeah, and I think the one movie that I mentioned that I changed up. So originally I want to talk about Ice Pirates, which is like a beloved movie of mine from the 80s.
I was really hoping you were going to talk about that because I love that movie.
We could talk about.
I love both of your movie choices. So we'll go.
Ice Pirates. The only reason I didn't want to talk about it is because I wanted to go back and watch it again, and I didn't get a chance to. So I was like, I don't remember enough about it other than the fact that I love it.
Yeah.
And it's just a great cast. It's basically like Pirates in Space, which is amazing. You know, it's also another great one too that I really want to watch again. Is Time Bandits.
I would say, but as a kid, it was 3. It was Ice Pirates, Time Bandits, and The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
I was literally gonna say Baron Munchausen.
Yeah, that was a great.
Yeah, Eric Idle, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Baron Munchausen was great too. That was a weird, trippy film.
Yep. Terry Gilliam.
But I did watch Starship Troopers the other night.
Fantastic.
And I forgot how much I really love that movie. Rico's Roughnecks.
Yep.
That's all I gotta say. But yeah, Clancy Brown, amazing in that movie. Commander Zim, which is great. He captures a bug at the end. The other thing that I was watching that movie,
the cast, dude, is
I was like, Casper Van Dien, honestly, like you're traveling across the galaxy for Denise Richards. When you have Dina Meyer right next to you, looking to bang you, what's wrong with you? You're killing bugs and banging redheads.
I don't know. She's missing. Yeah, I don't want to turn this into that kind of podcast.
I'm just saying.
But, yeah. I mean,
great shower.
But yeah.
But I love the bugs.
I mean, Casper Van Dien at one point was actually, I don't know if it was Iron Man or Captain America, but he was actually attached.
I can see him as a Captain America.
They wanted him to be like before before Jon Favreau did his Iron Man. They were trying to reunite him, and they wanted him to be in. Which I mean, he looks like a superhero, or he did at the time. But
he's a good. I mean, yeah, I liked him. I thought it was.
I didn't like him in. I will say he was very wooden in Sleepy Hollow, which I also do not like that movie, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. I'll agree with you on that one.
Okay.
Going to Johnny Depp Avenue.
I love Johnny Depp. It's not Johnny Depp. It's not his fault.
No, it's just a bad movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had bugs. I mean, those bugs were tearing people up.
The bugs are one of my favorite.
Awesome. I love the brain bug at the end.
Super creepy.
Yeah. Dermot Mulrooney, man, he gets a fucking spike in his head. Sucks all his brains out, which is great.
And yeah, I love fucking Doogie Howser in that movie. It's like the kind of like cold psychic.
Neil Patrick Harris, SS.
Yeah,
Doogie Howser. Doogie Howser was working for the Nazi regime. That's what he literally the hat in the thing.
Look, we all know Nazis were the worst people ever, but they had damn fine fashion sense. They were fucking snappy dressers. It's true. That's why the Japanese love them so much.
And you had to be when you were working for the Führer. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. But to your point, we were talking about this before about just like so much of the underlying like subtext of that movie, which was amazing. And I mean, it just really had a lot of people think it was just for the action and the bugs, but realistically, like there was just so much hidden meaning like in that movie. It really is honestly a work of art.
I mean, the thing is, it's.
And now it's a cult classic. I mean, it really is a cult classic to a lot. So many people, new people start watching it. And
we were talking before. It's like
I was super disappointed, honestly, that they never, like, none of the sequels, like, ever took off. They were direct-to-video stuff. The third one brought Casper Van Dien back. There was an animated one, too.
Yeah. Which I thought the animated one was actually pretty solid.
I thought the animated one was way better than the other two.
I didn't watch the other ones,
But I was like, damn, like I really wish they had done a legitimate sequel to this movie. Like, it would have been awesome just to see like what they do from there.
I mean, the thing is, we talked about it off before we started recording, but like, yeah, I think Paul Verhoeven was like took a script that could have been real dumb, and he decided to go with his vision of it, which was, like I said, it was like a propaganda film. It was like cheesy, but on purpose, in the way like old 40s and 50s like war movies kind of were. But then he added that element of like the super scary bugs, and I think the bug design is one of the best alien designs ever.
So crazy.
Because we can see we can see what that we have like reference for it in our head with like Earth bugs, but they have their own thing, and like they're the size and like how fast they are. They're just a fucking great movie.
Oh yeah, I mean they just come out of nowhere, and then they have the different type of bugs that are there as well, which I thought are awesome.
Awesome, yeah.
I love the scene where he's like on the bug back and he blows it up and he throws a grenade
down it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just bugs are creepy enough as it is.
My friend Tom, No Moss Thomas, my friend Tom is an expert. He's really knowledgeable about the books, the series of books. And think of the guy's name, the writer's name, but Tom, he's an interesting guy. Anyways, I'd love to have him on here someday. But he has like a level of insight to the movies and the books that is really fascinating. Like the books themselves, like that guy's whole like work, which is all sort of tied. And there's this book called Armor. I might be confusing things, but I remember Tom explaining these things, and it was like, damn, this sounds like a pretty interesting, like more than just that one movie, the Starship Troopers, like the whole universe they created, that writer created, was really fascinating. Like there's like a lot of political stuff and interesting sci-fi concepts and stuff. So
yeah,
I feel like it definitely could be. It's like they should basically like reinvent it.
I would honestly, like, after watching that movie when I was growing up, I wanted to go fight bugs.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, he signed up.
I love that.
I'll do my 2 years of service in the space program, and that's how this all gets started. Literally, as I mentioned before, is because we were talking about the Space Army.
Yeah, Space
and I was like, yes, Space Force. I'm gonna go be on the Space Force. I'm gonna go fight intergalactic bugs. I'm gonna be Derek's Roughnecks. D's Roughnecks. Dirty D's Roughnecks.
Dirty D.
Fuck up some bugs. And that's like the first thing my brain went to is like, I don't care about keeping space nice and calm, man. I want to blow shit up, like alien style.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, I just feel like if we do
who's cooler though, the Colonial Marines from Aliens or the
Roughnecks?
The Roughnecks.
Definitely the Aliens.
Right?
Yeah.
Can't be.
I mean, those guys, honestly, like, the Marines for Starship Troopers, no discredit to them. Most of them got fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
And while I do agree that so did the ones on Aliens, I feel like they were much harder to kill, and they were also in a much more confined space. Like, these guys were fine in their spaceships. Like, in Starship Troopers, it was when they landed that they got fucked up. Like, but yeah, the fact is, like, you know what? Bring Clancy Brown into the next Alien movie as Zim.
Yeah,
see how he fucks shit up.
That's right. Clancy Brown for life, man. He's
good.
When I was watching The Mandalorian, which we're not going to go down that rabbit hole either. But I was so excited because I was like, one, I got to see a Devorian, which is like they're the devil-looking race from the New Hope. That I was like only on screen once, but I was like, I want more of that guy, that crazy demon-looking dude. But I was like, Clancy Brown's playing a Devorian. God damn, that's perfect. Anyways, but yeah, great movie. Guy. I feel like it's so vastly underrated. But it's one of those films I can watch. I'll watch it every few months.
I literally, and that's what was happening. I was like looking through like this book of DVDs I have, and I'm like, Starship Troopers. I put it right in. I was like, I didn't even hesitate. Like, didn't finish looking through the rest of my DVDs at all. Like, just popped it in.
A remote dropper.
I was like,
there you go. It's one of it's always like it's always on like on TBS, and like it's
lost in translation on like
that one
cable channel.
The Replacements, but whenever those two movies are on TBS, I'm like, all right, cool. We're watching Starship Troopers today.
I'll watch it, but it just you lose so much. Like, for being edited. Edited for television.
Like the shower scene.
Yes, co-ed showers.
Co-ed showers, man. That's the way
it was. I was like, I'm joining the army so I could have babies. I'm like, wow, you really want to like have kids that bad?
You think the franchise will be rebooted to
I think
be redone?
I would say never say never.
Yeah, I think so. Like they
Paul
talked
Matheson,
about it for a while.
It's Paul Matheson, right? God damn, that's gonna bug me. I mean,
the author.
Yeah, it's Paul Matheson, right?
I don't know. I guess we can Google it. Maybe I'll googly.
Do Robert Heinlein?
Robert Heinlein, different guy, but yes, okay. Yes.
We're still here, folks.
Anyways, we're just all like looking at Google. We need you need to be the producer with this.
I do.
So we don't get off script. Anyways, but yeah, it's a great movie. In fact, this is going to now make me try to watch it tonight. I think.
Yeah, you definitely should. It's just such a good movie. But yeah, I think that was like most of the other stuff I watched was kind of horror based.
Horror based. Well, that's the thing. Is like one of the movies I want to talk about was the new Hellboy. The Mist, there's where they're sort of. I mean, The Mist is just a horror monster movie. Because, look, this discussion needs to. There are monster movies and then there are horror movies. A lot of monster movies are horror movies, but not all monster movies are horror movies. Depends on what is the monster doing and if the intent of the movie is to terrify you. Because not all monster movies are meant to terrify you, aka King Kong. A.K.A. Gremlins. There's other intentions beside.
I was going to say, I did watch another one that would not fall into the horror realm this week as well. It was Colossal.
Oh, it's a fun movie.
With Anne Hathaway.
With your girlfriend, Anne Hathaway. Looking super cute in it, too.
Anne Hathaway. She's a whole lot of drunk.
Yeah.
Yep. And Jason Sudeikis. Yeah. I thought it was a pretty cool movie.
It's a fun movie.
I had not seen that movie before. And I happened to be actually the reason I watched it is I was watching a YouTube video about top 10 movies with surprise endings or kind of what the fuck endings, and I saw that and I'm like, you know what, let me go check that out. So that was also another one that I watched kind of on the cuff because I was like, hey, it's a monster movie.
As a giant kaiju fan, I remember a lot of people online were once it came out, because it was one of those things, movies I think it came out to Fantastic Fest or one of those film festivals, and a lot of people, just the crowd, were like, wow, this movie's really great, what an interesting concept. But then kaiju fans, which is diehard fans of anything, can be fucking way up their own ass. But then they hate it. It's not a kaiju movie, blah. But it's a good movie. It's a fun little.
Did you get that, folks? Yeah. It was a whole lot of
wanking.
That's a little kaiju.
That's a little. Anyways, but yeah. But the thing is, it's because it's a great movie. It's a fun little movie, man.
It is.
Jason Sudeikis.
It is. I like it. He's got the robot. Mm-hmm. She's got the kaiju.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think big old monsters are fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You can add a funny element to it as well, which is great.
At some point on this podcast, I need to talk about what a colossal disappointment the Pacific Rim films are, and how it breaks my fucking heart to even think about them, because of what a giant, colossal disappointment they are to me.
In comparison to what?
Just in general.
You had high hopes for it?
Yeah. Since I was 10 years old, I wanted a giant robots fight Giant Monsters movie, a big budget movie. And then when I finally got it, it was garbage. And then the sequel, everything, I did not like the way that the... excuse me. I did not like the way that the Jaggers, whatever... the giant robots designs, I didn't like them in the first one. When I saw all the stuff for the second film, I'm like, oh, I like them. The designs better. And then the second movie is one of the worst movies in every capacity. Bad acting, bad script. The way it was shot was bad. It was just bad. So,
do you think Clint Eastwood ever just watches his son's movies and just goes where did I go?
I know, right?
Did I go wrong? I'm just kidding, Scott Eastwood. You're all right, dude. I have
friends that are fans of that guy, but I don't get it. They wanted him to be the next Batman. I don't get it.
No.
Clint Eastwood's son?
Yeah. Oh. Scott Eastwood. He's good.
Who would you rather have? Him or Tom Cruise's Batman? Because that was a possibility.
Little 5'3" Batman?
He was supposed to be Iron Man.
He was supposed to be Iron Man. Yeah. Which I think he would have been a great Iron Man.
I think he would have.
Especially in the 80s.
Arrogant enough. Yeah, he's definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would have been cool. Definitely.
Could have made Will Smith Rhodey.
Right?
No, he shouldn't have. That. Will Smith should have been Iron Man, and Martin Lawrence should have been Rhodey.
Oh, no.
Bad Boys 3?
I saw the trailer.
4. Literally Bad Boys for Life.
I saw the...
that was fun. I actually thought the trailer was funny.
I saw the Red Band trailer last night.
For the new
Bad Boys
3.
I'm excited. I love... You know what?
Dude, they're great.
I love Bad Boys.
Hell yeah.
I like Bad Boys 1. I love Bad Boys 2 even more.
You know, Bad Boys 2 is considered one of the best action movies ever made.
It's amazing.
It's great.
I watch it every time. I just love when he gets shot in the ass. He's like... it's like... Oh, no.
The thing is, Martin Lawrence...
It's the Negroes.
I used to be the world's biggest Martin Lawrence fan.
Oh, his stand-up was amazing.
Dude, again, You So Crazy, I can literally...
We talked about this. My man.
Yeah.
He's great. He's great.
But, so I'm glad to have him come back. Even Blue Streak I thought was fun.
Blue Streak's amazing.
Yeah.
He definitely, though, I was like, man, like, Will Smith looks good. Martin Lawrence,
he looks like Martin Lawrence.
Oh, man. It's like, are you, like, waterlogged or something?
I think he's got diabetes. I think he's got some health stuff. So
he's got the sugar.
Too much booger sugar.
He's got the diabetes.
He's got the diabetes.
Diet cocaine.
He's got the sugar.
Bad Boys, though. I love that.
The Bad Boys 2 is like that, like an 80s style. Like, we're just so over the top. It's a great movie.
Yeah, totally. So I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I saw the Red Band trailer last night, and it looks really entertaining. You can tell like they actually grew up with it, as far as not just like pick up where they left off kind of deal.
Dude, that sequence when they're on the plane and he's like, like, we ride together, we die together, and the people on the plane are like, no, we're like the whole like we're cops, it's fine. Like everybody's like, I know, I just really laughed. That was funny. They just take this like classic like badass like action movie like line, and then they put it in context of like other people around,
like in real life context.
I just like the scene too where Will Smith is working with the younger people, and they try to like do the Bad Boys theme song. He's like, no, you fucking it all up. It takes a long time to learn those lyrics. I was like, that's so great. I also hope his entire team of those young kids gets murder-lated in that movie, like an explosion.
We need to do a Going Commando podcast outing together and see that together.
Yes.
I'm down.
Yes.
I'm in.
Let's do that.
All right. Sounds good.
That's great.
I think you had a movie.
I did
I'm sorry, man. We totally jumped the...
No, we have plenty of time.
That's fine. So, because we chose sci-fi action films.
Yes.
There's a lot of things I could do. I thought about, some stuff from the 80s, some stuff from the 90s. So I think 90s really were when the sci-fi action really sort of took off. But I actually went to one of my favorite movies when I was a kid that, isn't very popular today. It was popular in the 70s, but it's Logan's Run.
Good movie.
I just think it's a great movie.
I totally thought you were going to Universal Soldier.
I thought about that was one of the films I thought about first.
Yep, that's the first one.
Anything with Dolph Lundgren in it, man. But yeah, so movie from the early 70s. I love, first off, all the art direction in it. It's based off of a novel. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but basically the concept is we're in this like future utopian society, but one of the things that we keep... First off, one thing I love about this movie is it's all like every time they show the outside of this utopian society, it's all done with like miniature work, which like miniature work like you usually see in like Japanese movies,
right?
All these like sci-fi miniatures, but there's something so goddamn charming about it. It's obviously these little miniatures, but it's so beautifully done and like it's just so charming. I can watch any of those like shots where like they have the little tubes and the little tiny cars going through. It just makes me happy. But they have this utopian society and everything is like in like basically like a city structure. But one of the things that keeps it a quote unquote utopian society is that everybody's born with these gems in their hand, and when they're about to turn 30, the light starts flashing, and that means it's time to go to the carousel, which is, spoiler alert, where you go to die, basically.
It's a death carousel.
Yeah, and but it's this crazy, very 70s, like, they're doing, like, air gymnastics and these crazy... In fact, I'm not a big cosplay person, but I've always wanted to go dressed as, like, one of the people in Carousel, because I think they look like the craziest, like, ice skaters meet 70s, like, David Bowie fucking weirdness. Anyways, it's great. But the whole story is about these characters who are called Sand. There's... the actor Michael York plays this guy who's a Sandman. So Sandmen are... Once you get... the little gem starts flashing, there's a small segment of the population who don't want to go to carousel and they decide to run. They're called runners. Michael York plays the character Logan, who's a Sandman, and his best friend is also Sandman, and they have like, they're kind of real callous, like, they're kind of like, one thing I love about the movie is I love all the costuming, and what's really interesting is like everybody else in this society wears like the most flowy, like colorful, like 70s, almost like Grecian, like kind of like outfits. But the Sandmen wear all black and gray. They're very like clean sci-fi outfits with their little fucking guns and shit. so they kind of stand out in a crowd, and they even like everybody else is having merriment and fun. They're sort of like, almost like there's almost like sadists a little bit. They're like going through and like they just have this vibe. Well, anyways, so
it's like walking into Hot Topic with all the goth kids.
Sure, yeah.
I get it. I got it.
Get a little parched there.
Oh, sorry about that.
But anyway, so long story short, through this series of circumstances, well, it could be way longer. But so Michael York's character ends up, he captures this runner and he takes him to basically be interrogated, and they find about this like paradise, and all of a sudden like they basically tell like Michael York's character like, you know, like you have like access to information you shouldn't have, even though he's only 26. He's got 4 more years until he turns 30. His little thing starts flashing because they want him dead because he has information he shouldn't have. So he basically goes on this run. First off, one of my first crushes in cinema history was on the character Jessica in this, who has the best costume. Oh my god!
Also, ice skater like.
Oh, and I don't look it up.
Jenny Gutter.
Yeah, dude, she was so cute in this movie in her little outfit.
Oh yeah, she played. She was in Child's Play too. She
Yep.
played the mom. Yeah,
Yep.
she's. Oh, she was in American. Oh, she played the nurse in American Werewolf in London too.
Yes, she did.
Hot dang.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
but dude, look at her outfit in this movie, especially like the first one. But this movie's weird. There's like orgies. They like. But anyways, don't get too off topic. So anyways, the whole premise of this, anyways, this concept is like the idea in the book. The book was a little different. They added a bunch of stuff in the movies, like. There's no carousel in the novel, but it's basically in the novel you die at 21 instead of 30, which is really insane.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is like population control, which is actually a real problem we face in our modern society. But the whole thing it's about like believing what the authority tells you, going with the flow, doing what society tells you without investing any of your own thought or feelings into it. So there's all these like big overarching kind of like classic sci-fi concepts, which is a great movie. It's like it's very like visually appealing. There's this robot named Box, who's the weirdest looking fucking robot in cinema history.
Now I know why you like the outfit.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I would have had a crush on her, too.
Yeah, dude. She was very cute. Anyways, I loved her in America.
Oh,
That was not planned either. But anyways, but Michael York is so fucking good in this, and Michael York is like this handsome dude with this great voice, and he really is like, I don't know why he didn't have a bigger career. Like, he did a lot of stuff in England, in the UK, but he didn't like break out in America. But I thought he was like good looking dude, great voice.
Powers.
He's best.
Yes, that's why the only thing people know him from.
Witten's Basil to Witten's.
But anyways, it's a great movie. I feel like I'm the old man in this movie. This old man obsessed with cats. Like every time I watch, I'm like, I feel like that guy's me. He's like, he doesn't get anybody's references. He's just like,
I am the cat man.
He just loves cats and stuff. I'm like, I totally get it. But the whole idea of like looking for paradise that doesn't exist, but at the same time, like, yeah, it's just a great movie. It's like, I think art direction. Do I think like a 19-year-old kid might enjoy it the same way I enjoy it? Maybe not, without having like a little bit more open mind. But again, the concepts of it are like, it's like Fahrenheit 451. Some of those concepts were like one of those those stories, science fiction that really makes you think about how you live in your modern society, and like it was a really fascinating movie. Highly recommended for people who love like classic sci-fi films, and yeah.
What did you think? I know it's not the exact same thing, but like similar concept. That movie with Amanda Seyfried and Justin Timberlake.
Time.
No, wait. Are you talking about? Oh God,
Time something.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw that.
Where they had the.
Oh yeah, I did see it. I saw it.
In Time.
In Time, yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. I rented it.
Where he's got the credit, but people like stop aging at 25.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting concept.
Like
yeah.
you have to use your credits, like live beyond that. If not, you'll die.
There's a lot of like there's this one about like where it's like, you like, yeah. There's a lot of weird like in the early 2000s, like a lot of these weird like. Did you ever see Gattaca?
Yeah,
that's a movie I fucking love, and I feel like is a spiritual successor to Logan's Run, especially because like. they took like the concept of like Anyways, I was talking about Gattaca maybe sometime. It's a great movie. One of my favorite science fiction films of the last 40 years.
On a side note, you know what I almost picked for my movie, but I was like, I would just take up all the time. This is a Running Man.
Again, I had a short list, and that was, and I'm going to talk about that at some point. I actually have a lot to unpack about that movie.
I feel like maybe we should just do one movie next week, and we should next time we record, we'll talk about Running Man. Because I also feel like there's a lot to talk about in that movie.
Yeah, let's talk about Running Man.
Yeah,
Running Man's awesome, man. I never. That's one of those.
Have you heard the short story?
Yeah. And the movie, it's got Schwarzenegger in it. It's got some of those good lines.
Dude,
it's got Big Fleetwood,
Jesse Ventura.
It's got wrestling, and it's got.
From now on, you have to know every actor's penis size for going forward.
I can do that.
It's like Schwarzenegger. 5.5.
Yeah.
Too much.
Hey, speaking of short penises, are y'all going to like go see the Cats movie just to see how bad it is?
No, I'm not.
Because everyone that I'm seeing online, they're saying, yeah, I knew it was going to be a bad movie, but I didn't know it was going to be that bad.
Here's how I feel about it. Number one, folks,
it looks freaky.
Like, you're encouraging thoughts about animals that should not exist.
Why?
Why? I don't like that look you gave me.
You see what my knuckles say?
I love cats. I just don't love cats.
I don't love cats. I love on cats.
And the fact is, it's like the only time, from what I read in cinema history, where they've actually had to send a digital patch to make things better on the day of release to enhance the effects. Yeah. What are you enhancing? I don't want to see if they're spayed or neutered. Like, if that's
I mean, it was just like that Sonic movie. I mean, they pulled it back and redid it.
Yeah, but at least they didn't release it in like.
Yeah, that's
at
true.
least they just put a trailer out. People said Sonic.
I mean, how do you have that big of stars in that movie?
Guys,
I mean, like,
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to go see it. I'm probably going to enjoy it. I love musicals. I love weirdo musicals. I love Cats.
If you like it,
I love the musical Cats.
The musical Cats is amazing.
I hate when I saw them, like, so they're like cut cat bodies and human faces, and they're like people proportions, but they're like cat size. I was like, this is a fucking fail on every level. I need to see this.
Look, that's why I want to see it.
I'm going to tell you what. If you see it and you come back and tell me you love it,
we're done.
No, just because I appreciate your thought and input so much, I will go watch it.
Okay.
But I'm not going to watch it until you see it and come back and give me the seal of approval.
I mean, sometimes
I'm not subjecting myself to that level of terror. Like,
and
I'm watching bad movies, okay, people? Bad movies. And
have you ever heard of the movie The Apple?
No.
It's a 1970s musical, basically taking the story of like Adam and Eve.
Into a musical?
But instead, it's this dystopian utopian. I don't know. We'll say it's a utopian in ideal, and the devil is basically this producer, and they are basically like the fucking Carpenters, like Adam and Eve are the Carpenters. They sing folk music, it's like soft, like adult contemporary folk music, but then everybody else wants like hard disco, and so they're hated, but then like people are like, oh, I dig this, I can get behind this, and they love it. It's like one of the weirdest movies ever made, and I fucking love it. Big shout outs to my boy D-Money, Devin, listening. I know Devin loves this podcast. He's listened to it.
Thanks, Devin.
Devin he's one of my all-time favorite people. He's the guy that showed me the Apple. He would get a kick out of it being brought up. But yeah, it's a very interesting movie.
If you come back and like the movie, everything you say means nothing from now on.
But again, though, my enjoyment of it,
he's gonna pound his hand. He's gonna be like, "Repo the genetic opera."
Exactly. If you like it and you.
Do you know the difference? Let's not go there. Okay.
I do know the difference. One actually had someone from Skinny Puppy, which is like
that means
that's an amazing band.
That'd be great if Cats had Skinny Puppy in it, though.
What?
It'd be a cat. It'd be like
exactly. There's an actual Skinny Puppy.
You know what? I would like Cats if the Stray Cats were in it.
Yeah, there you go.
Which would be great.
Right?
But give me some Brian Center Orchestra in Cats, and then we're talking.
Holding that big old Gretsch guitar.
Yeah. I also want a bunch of people named Cat. Like, throw a tattoo artist cat in there. You're like Cat Von D. I will watch it though. If you watch it and you give it,
I hear the thing is, I probably will enjoy it, but I'll probably also with the caveat that it's a terrible movie and you shouldn't watch it. Okay. But it's fine.
All right.
If you I'm saying if you like it in the sense like it was a good movie versus I was entertained by how bad it was. There's a
but
difference
the thing is,
there.
because here's the thing: is like I don't love things like ironically. I can love something despite like. I could probably watch it and be like, yeah, like technically it's a terrible movie, but either there's something fun about it for me, or I love the music and the set pieces. Like I can enjoy something and still be like, yeah, it's not a fucking good movie, but I like it and I got something out of it. But I'm not gonna be like, oh, it was so terrible, I love it, because I'm not that dude. I don't get that. I really never understood that. Like I love Ed Wood movies. But I don't know. It's a whole topic.
So what we're really trying to say, folks, is when we come back, James may have watched Cats.
James is bougie.
And he may convince me to go see Cats. And then once we both watch Cats, then we're going to unpack it.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
We're going to unpack it like a litter box.
I mean, seriously, if y'all are going to go see it, I have to go see that stupid movie.
Yeah, I'll leave.
But that being said,
I feel like if I do go see it, there definitely were going to be some drinks. I'm going to go to the Draft House.
Oh, man.
And be a couple shots in before I watch that.
Let's get a little lit. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways.
Look, it's been fun. Just cats conversations make my stomach nauseous. All right? No, I'm just kidding.
Cats and dicks.
Oh my.
Well, before you go, though.
Pussy and dick.
God, you guys are so mature. So, before we go though, can we just quickly talk about that Sonic shit real quick? Because this is something I feel passionately about. I love all the fucking nerds online. We're like, Sonic looks so dumb. Sonic looks dumb, which he did. He looked awful. But okay, though the studio went back and fixed how he looked, and everybody's like, yeah, it's so rad. Guess what? That movie's still going to be shit. That movie looks terrible.
It does.
That movie makes fucking.
Also,
the Mario Brothers movie looked like a fucking masterpiece.
I love the Mario
I wouldn't go
Brothers
that
movie.
far. I wouldn't go that far.
Wait until you watch it. I guarantee you.
I like the Mario Brothers movie. I don't care what anybody says.
Like, if you took the game, if you told me that wasn't a video game movie, I would have enjoyed
everything
it.
about the trailer. I don't give a shit. The Sonic could have been a sock puppet. It could have just been a stick figure.
I would have been
everything
great.
Around that trailer is awful.
The worst part of that about that movie is not the animation; it's Jim Carrey, and I'll go on the record and say that.
Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik might be.
Mr. Robotnik is freaking fat.
Well, haven't you seen the new trailer? Though at the end he is bald and fat.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the end of the trailer.
So I think it's
going to be bad. That's the thing. But everybody's like, we're going to see it.
But the thing is, though, for a studio to go back and do that just because there was an outcry of how bad it looked, I think you owe it to them. It's like, hey, you know what? You put in some effort. I may not like it. You know what I mean? It's like your son like practicing really hard for their choir concert in 3rd grade. Yeah, it's gonna suck, but you're gonna go because they practiced. You know?
There's so much wrong with what you just said. I can't even put my brain around it.
I hate you.
So, on that note, folks, thank you for listening to Going Commando. Before somebody in here goes public.
Oh my God! Yes, don't forget to subscribe to us on Spotify and also Apple Podcasts. Sorry, Apple Podcasts. No, because they're getting rid of iTunes now. So Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating and a review. We really do appreciate it. Tell your mom. Tell your grandma. Tell your dog. Right. I mean, if you're into that stuff, apparently one of us is. But
perverts all around.
but thank you again for listening to Going Commando, and as always.
This one's for you, Keanu.
That's right.
Goodbye.
I like cats.
I like cats.